Well, good morning. I'm Jeff Coleman.
And I'm Debra Pinkerton. Welcome to Morning Light.
Well, late Wednesday, CBS News reported President Donald Trump has approved strikes against Iran, but is reportedly waiting until the last minute to make the final decision. We'll have an update on the situation from Tel Aviv in just a moment.
But first, here's a preview of what's coming up later in the show. Hope Within Ministries is a community health, counseling, and dental center. Their mission, share God's love with people in need. Hear more about Hope Within's dental program and learn how you can help this nonprofit keep sharing the gospel.
They do heroic work at Hope Within, for sure.
Well,
Well, 160 years ago today, 2,000 Union soldiers under the command of Major General Gordon Granger marched into Galveston, Texas, announcing the end of the Civil War and freedom for enslaved people. General Order Number 3 proclaimed all slaves are free. Today we pause to celebrate Juneteenth, the fulfillment of a long-delayed promise of equality and justice foretold in the Declaration of Independence and pledged in the Emancipation Proclamation. June 19th, 1865 was a very good day. Happy Juneteenth.
and say back to you. Now turning to tense developments in the Middle East. On June 13th, Israel struck Iran's nuclear facilities. It's been named Operation Rising Lion. Iran retaliated with massive drone and missile strikes focused largely on Israel's civilian population centers. The world waits now for word from the White House. What exactly will be America's military commitment to the state of Israel in this present conflict? And really, what is America's next move as Iran's supreme leader rejects President Donald Trump's call for unconditional surrender?
These are very tense moments there
Very
and
tense.
here and around the world. Well, he is the former spokesman for the Israeli Defense Forces and has a distinguished 24-year military service record of his own. After October 7th, he became known as the global face of the Israeli response to the Hamas terror attacks. He is on the ground this morning, at this moment, in Israel. And Colonel Conricus joins us this morning from Tel Aviv. Colonel, welcome to Morning Light. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. Shalom.
Tell me a little bit about what is different. You have been the voice of Israel in many ways through several rounds of pretty intense conflict. What is different about what is happening now in terms of the level of intensity and this larger moment for Israel and for the region?
Oh, yeah, this is very different. I would even dare to say that these are historic events, once in a lifetime. I hope it's the first and last time that Israel will have to do battle with the nation state of Iran. Currently, we're fighting the Iranian regime, and, everything is bigger. Their missiles are bigger, the amount of casualties on our side are bigger, and the stakes are much, much bigger for Israel, for the region, and possibly for the world. So, we unfortunately are quite battle-hardened, and we've been fighting Iranian proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and others over the years. So Israelis are no strangers to hardship and fighting, but this is different. We're talking about a nation state that is 10 times larger than Israel in terms of its population and really was geared towards fighting Israel.
Prime Minister Netanyahu made a very clear message to the Iranian people earlier this week, really making a distinction between the Islamic regime and the Iranian people. What is your sense of how you roll back the clock to 50 years ago and reestablish that relationship? Is there the latent revolution in Iran waiting to rise up? Do you get that sense in the region? And do you think they're ready to self-govern? What does that look like, let's say, a week or 2 weeks from now when potentially this conflict is over?
Yeah, I think it'll take longer than that time span for the conflict to be over. But, any tyrannical regime that rules by oppression and terror its own population, its first enemy is never the external threat, but it's always keeping, a watchful eye of the domestic population. And the Iranian regime is in such a state now. If things unravel, then I think there is a possibility that the regime will be weak enough and that the Iranian people will decide to, make that step, that leap of faith and go ahead and try to free itself from that oppressive regime. That's a decision that the Iranian people will have to make. That is not something that external forces, not Israel, not the US, anybody else can do. We're talking about a nation of around 100 million people with a rich and diverse history, with tremendous achievements. This isn't some, backwards nation that can be planned and toyed around by others. Iran is a big country and they're quite strong, but unfortunately for the Iranian people, they've been governed by a lousy, oppressive, and dysfunctional government in the form of the Islamic regime. So yes, I think there's a possibility. I hope that it'll be as peaceful and as benign as any revolution can. Usually revolutions aren't, friendly and peaceful transitions of power. There's usually instability and violence, and I hope it will be minimal. But at the end of it, and I think we're talking months and maybe more than that, at the end of it, I think we can see a better and positive future for Iranians, for the region, and for Israel.
Let me ask you a final question just in our last minute together. Speak personally what life is like today. I've been to Tel Aviv, a beautiful city, modern city, but war has its own kind of brutality that takes you almost back to the Stone Age. How are you balancing real life, daily life? You're a father, you're a husband, and you're an Israeli. What's it feeling like there?
I'm very blessed. My family is safe. We've, been 25, 30 times down in the bomb shelter already. And human beings have this amazing capacity to adapt and adjust. The first few times were very scary for the children and for a lot of other people. Now it's less so. We do feel protected. However, we do see that they continue to fire missiles, and that is scary for a lot of the population. But the bottom line here is Israelis are, we're a hard-necked people. We know that we are definitely doing what's necessary for our own future. And as such, Israelis are going to be willing to tough it out against the Iranian regime until we get a better future and a better present. And I think that's where we are now.
Colonel, we join you in that wish for Israel and for the entire Middle East region. Thank you for joining us on Morning Light this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, and shalom.
Shalom. Well, we're grateful for our Morning Light panel this morning, and you gentlemen walking into a very tough conversation that we have. I'm going to ask you the hardest question right now, which is, Davis, when is it the right time? What is the threshold that you have to meet to go to war? We're talking right now the politics of war. We're talking about the financial investment of a country, but when is the right time to go to war?
I think we have to look to a biblical worldview. We have to look to a just war framework. So the only time it's permissible to go to war is really acting in self-defense. When your nation is threatened by another people and you need to act in self-defense. But a key piece of that is, what is the end result? What is the end goal? War has to be a last resort from a biblical perspective. It has to be defensive, and there has to be a clear end state.
You're a fellow veteran, along with Davis. Your sense of when is the threshold? When do you hit go if you're advising the president this morning?
Well, I agree with Davis that it has to be a last resort. You have to exhaust every other possibility. If it's self-defense, that's important. And I do believe that there's sometimes throughout history that we have intervened when someone else was unable to defend themselves, and we were able to go in and to help them as well. But I always look at the two basic biblical concepts as the first part before you go to war. Like the Bible says, whenever you partake in anything, you have to first count the cost. So what is it that, what is the human element that we have to deal with when we go to war? Because it's not just about territory or political disseval. It also is about human beings losing their life. And the other part is begin with the end in mind. What is our end goal? Because I hate the concept of a forever war with no type of goal and no type of, what is it that we're trying to accomplish if we do engage in war?
You said this is about people. Last night, a friend of mine from Israel, northern Israel, sent me the security footage from his home. And what you can hear and see in this footage is pretty extraordinary, which is, the bombs, the light, the cat is running. I mean, this is real and visceral. John, what is the threshold? But when people are mixing in a scripture, and especially Christians, there's almost a battle in theologies about when it is the right time to go to war. How do you see the moment, this particular moment, and then in general, when is the right time to go to war?
Well, I don't really have much to add apart from what you guys said, except, like Joe was saying, war always involves human beings killing other human beings, and so that's a very serious thing. But it's also a serious thing that in our world is clearly necessary at times, and there are a series. So you asked Joe to advise President Trump. I would advise President Trump to get advisors more like Joe than myself, but ones who have a biblical framework, military realism, and a sense of history as well, as far as to be able to make those kinds of decisions.
So a different kind of history is, global missions, world missions was very active in Iran prior to 50 years ago. That has radically changed, and the doors are closed. There seems to be a latent, though, hunger for something other than what the Islamic regime is offering. What do you think, how should the church, Christians, be ready for the moment when missions is reopened potentially in Iran?
Well, so King Jesus doesn't actually let people close the door to the gospel. So Ayatollah could try, but the gospel's been progressing in Iran despite that. And certainly we can just continue to pray that the Lord would give the Persian brothers and sisters a government that would stop wickedly suppressing the church and instead allow it to flourish. But yeah, the gospel's at work there. The gospel doesn't respect little lines on a map, but just to continue to seek out all the people that God's calling to himself.
That's a beautiful picture, Joe.
Well, I think this is maybe a great opportunity, because whenever we see oppression, whether it be the first century church or whatever, whenever there's oppression, the message of the gospel, which brings hope to all humanity, always rings true. And like my brother said, that no matter how hard man tries, ultimately the gospel of Jesus Christ prevails, and the more hopeless situations look, the greater the opportunity is for people to receive the message of the gospel.
You get the final 30 seconds.
What I would just say is there's a lot of history that gets us here, but we can accept and we can say we're different people. We're Christians, and we can be engaged in these things without the full bondage of history. We can recognize it for planning purposes, but we can engage one-on-one with individuals with the love of Christ without bringing the baggage of all that history with us.
And that is significant, to be able to love your Iranian neighbors, to love your Israeli neighbors, and then combine in prayer for all of them, that they'll have, there's hope at the end of all this. So, thank you, gentlemen, very much. Well, Hope Within provides a ministry that provides health care to uninsured residents in central Pennsylvania. We'll learn how you can help their mission to share God's love with people in need. You're watching Morning Light right here on Lighthouse TV.
Welcome back. A Central Pennsylvania nonprofit provides primary health care to uninsured low-income residents in Lancaster, Dauphin, and Lebanon counties. The mission, share God's love with people in need. Joining us is Laurie Reichert, Director of Development with Hope Within Ministries. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Deborah. I appreciate that.
Remind us about Hope Within Ministries.
So as you mentioned, Hope Within Ministries has a free healthcare clinic. We also offer dental services, and then we also have low-cost counseling services as well. We're in Elizabethtown. We're just inside the Dauphin County line, so we're in the Lower Dauphin School District. And the patients that come to us are eligible through 250% at or below federal poverty level. And there's an eligibility application online at hopewithin.org.
What type of difference is this ministry making?
I think it's making a huge difference. We have folks that come to us, patients that come to us that are in dire need of medical help. And oftentimes they wait till the last minute, because if they don't have health insurance, that means they're not going to the emergency room. They're not seeking medical attention. They're waiting till the last minute to find some means of taking care of, or having someone examine them and kind of take them under their wing, right, to help them get through a medical challenge. So I think it makes a huge difference to the people locally, as you mentioned, in the Tri-County area. Sometimes we have folks that are here temporarily from all over the world. So I like to think that we have, love and boundaries, are boundless, rather, the love of God that we spread throughout several individuals, and we help them wherever we can.
You have a couple of fundraisers coming up. Why don't you talk about the first one that's happening in July?
So the Let Your Light Shine 5K is I got the t-shirt with me. Having been a former runner myself, always looking for a great t-shirt, something that can be worn even after the race. But the 5K is at Stone Gables Estate. So it's where the Star Barn is located in Elizabethtown. Private estate, really beautiful this time of year, like everything's all greened up, right? Beautiful estate, and it's July 19th, 8 a.m. start time. Hoping it's not going to rain, so hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. But looking for folks, they can sign up now. The early bird runs out on Saturday, and that would be June 21. But it's a July 19. Hopefully folks will come out and enjoy that.
And then you have something coming up in the fall, which sounds really exciting.
So the fall event is called Taste of the Nations. Wanted an event that would kind of exemplify or maybe be reflective of the people that we see. Because we do see folks locally, as you mentioned, from the Tri-County area, but we also have folks from all over the world that are patients for us. So it'll be an opportunity to taste some of the cultural foods from different countries, such as Ethiopia and Ukraine, Afghanistan, Thailand, and Kenya, just to name a few.
Wow.
Under one roof, and that is at the Star Barn, which is gorgeous. And if anybody's ever been to the Star Barn, they know that they've done a beautiful job restoring that. And so it'll be October 2nd, and that's an evening, 6 o'clock till 8:30. And the tickets actually are on sale now because unlike my 5K, I can handle a couple hundred people. There we're kind of limited, can't have people hanging off the rafters, so to speak.
Well, in the Star Barn, especially for people in central Pennsylvania, that's a beautiful area. Tell us, how do these fundraisers really make a difference for your ministry?
I think overall, one of the challenges of our ministry is it just seems, even though we've been there for 20 years, that people don't know who we are. I'm really hoping that the fundraisers will let people know who we are, what we do, and how we serve individuals, again, locally, but then throughout the world. So I'm really hoping it raises a lot of awareness. I do find if we get people aware of Hope Within Ministries, not only possibly will they be donors down the road, but they'll get involved. We could always use volunteers. So we have, I believe, close to 80 volunteers now, but we could use more volunteers. I find that if people volunteer, that they kind of take ownership and they provide services to the clinic. But I think overall, it's very satisfying to spread God's love through voluntary service, regardless of what nonprofit you volunteer with. But certainly with our clinic, you see such great satisfaction in taking care of individuals. And like I said, being able to do that and spread God's love in such a meaningful way is very satisfying. I find it really satisfying when I walk through the patient room and I just see the patient rooms filled with individuals from all over. It's very gratifying.
I'm
very
sure
gratifying.
They all have smiles on their faces
Yes.
too, knowing that they're being taken care of. Laurie, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I always enjoy seeing you.
So nice being here with you. And coming up next on Morning Light, Hope Within Ministries offers dental care to adults and children who do not have health insurance. Hear how the organization is helping those through tough financial times. Stay with us. We're back in 1 minute. In July of 2020, Hope Within Ministries launched dental care program to the uninsured. Joining me is Tina Nissly, a public health dental hygienist, to share more about the program. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Debra, for having me.
So tell us about the dental services.
The dental services that we provide are for adults and children. For the children, we provide dental exams. And in our state, we have school forms that need to be filled out for 1st, 3rd, 7th, and 11th, 11th grade. And we also provide sealants, prophylaxis, restorative fillings for our children, and also silver diamine fluoride. And for our adults, we provide dental exams and periodontal examinations, x-rays, panoramic x-rays, full mouth series, and restorative dentistry as well, extractions, and also at times we have to do scaling and root planing for our periodontal patients.
So you certainly provide a lot of services, and it is really important to take care of your teeth.
Yes, it is very important to take care of our teeth. Our teeth aren't just our smile, but it also allows us to speak properly, to be able to eat, enjoy our foods, but most of all, being able to give dignity to a patient, being able to provide a smile for them so they can go into a job interview and feel very confident that they can go in and smile. A smile, is a universal hello to someone, and to be able to just have that, the love of Christ, be able to exuberate through them through a smile is what we aim to do at Hope Within.
You were sharing a story with me earlier about a gentleman that came in there.
Yes, we also at times provide, in certain situations, circumstances, we provide endodontics, which is a root canals. And the dentist that I get to work with, Dr. Elena Gook, she will do everything she can to try to save someone's tooth. And we had a gentleman come in that had 6 of his teeth that were infected. They needed to come out. And she ended up bringing all of her endodontic equipment, all of the little files and tools to be able to save those teeth. And he, at the end, was just so elated that he had his smile and he didn't have to go without teeth at being such a young man. So just being able to work with the doctors, we have an oral surgeon who comes in and he provides extractions for us. And we also have Dr. Dwight Ashby who comes in and he provides care as well, for restorative-wise and examinations. And we have hygiene students who come in from September through April and help us to provide the hygiene as well. And we've had hygienists come in and provide. So we really do have an excellent team of dental professionals who come in. And like always, we always need volunteers. So if any of your viewers see us today or know someone who has a heart for people who love Jesus Christ and want to come in and share with their talents that they have in their profession, we would love to have them. Doris is our program coordinator, and she would love to be able to help the volunteers be able to come in and volunteer. I will give you a quick statistic of with Dr. Smith coming in for just 3 hours a month. He is able to come and he has seen over 150, has done 150 dental visits in just 2 years that he's been coming in at 3 hours a month.
Oh my goodness.
So it really makes a difference. Just a few hours, if you're able to give, we'd love to have you.
And I'm sure you get a wide range of reactions from people.
Oh, we do. Yes, we have patients that come in, they're broken. They come in at times in their life when, they're not able to have a job or they're trying to provide for their families and they're underserved, to be able to put food on the table or be able to get dental work done. Wow. They're going to pick to have the food on the table. So we're there to be able to provide that care. And people cry, people laugh, people are just broken, but also elated at having the dentistry done. And always, the reason why we're there is to share, again, the love of Jesus Christ, because not everyone who walks through our doors knows Jesus, and that is our main purpose of being there.
Tina, thank you so much for what you do and for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having us.
And to learn more about Hope Within Ministries, visit hopewithin.org. Stay with us. We're back right after the break.
Welcome back. Well, we are just days away from the 200th episode of Morning Light. Can you believe it? And as you can imagine, it takes a team of incredibly gifted, caring professionals to bring you this program every week.
And from the very first day, one very special person, Josh McLeaf, has been directing this new adventure in morning television. As we recently shared with you, Josh married Ella. Beautiful wedding. Well, today is his last day as Ella has a magical job opportunity in Florida.
Yes, that's
and,
right.
And we're putting you on the spot
I know,
this
this was
morning.
news to me. Reed, who's taken over from me, kind of just came up to me between the B and C block and said, hey, mic up, we're swapping out. And so it's kind of great to be thrown onto it on the last day here. But yeah, really
We
exciting
want to say
stuff.
thank you, because what you have done for this program and what you have done for all of us is bring professional but Christ-like love for our guest and for your entire team. You make it work.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I have to thank you all as well, Jeff, Debra, Luke, Keith, Missy, Reed, James, even, for just really making this program what it is, because it's been just transformational for my own faith journey to see how God is working in individuals and organizations just around the globe.
It's a lot bigger picture than our own world.
Yes,
isn't it?
Right,
absolutely.
it is.
And
It
so
certainly
it's just been crazy to see. I mean, we've had people from, Israel, Ukraine, to do all those kinds of stories has been really amazing. So it's been just fantastic to be part of this program and get it launched from the ground. Yeah.
Well,
Fantastic.
we're so glad that you've been here with us, and we wish you the very best. You
Thank
and
you, guys.
Ella.
I
We'll
appreciate
certainly
it.
be
Thank you.
praying for you.
Thank you. Thank
And
you very
we'll
much.
keep a chair for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
So go check on your neighbors. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. God bless you all.